True Sports episode 87 is on. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. The Lions beat the Packers yet again. 34-20. Lions jumped out to a 27-3 lead. Packers tried to come back, but they fell flat later in the fourth quarter. They scored 8 and then they scored 6, not 8, on their second touchdown drive. But that's all these, and then they got just a field goal in garbage time. But Quay Walker, his unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Riley Patterson field goal attempt proved the Packers costly.
Oi.
And the Lions scored because the Lions scored a touchdown a few plays later.
Kind of surprising at the beginning that, Detroit was really trouncing Green Bay. I was expecting to be a lot closer at that and,
Me
come out
too.
to be a better finish. Division rivals, they know each other, they probably breathe on each other, because they're the oldest rivalry in the NFL. So, I was expecting to be a much tighter game than that, especially the game with 27-3. Oh, this game was over, man. This game was over like at the second quarter.
The surprising thing out of all this was David Montgomery was suddenly deemed as active the same game day.
Yeah.
After he was listed as questionable the day before, when I predicted the Lions to win by only 1 point because they were 1.5 point favorites, 1.5 point favorites. But now the Lions were even more favored when Montgomery returned. Yeah. Up to the minute betting odds, man.
Right. Yeah, those odds are never really, accurate.
Montgomery, because Montgomery scored 3 touchdowns. 3. Because he's a bigger beast than Jahmyr Gibbs and DeAndre Swift combined.
Oh, yeah.
And then Michigan taking good care of Nebraska.
Yeah.
45-7.
This isn't Tom Osborne's team anymore, It's not the Nebraska we knew back in the 90s.
No. Not the early 2000s either.
Nebraska is a completely different team now than they were back then, 25 years ago.
Not even in the early 2000 teens.
Yeah.
They were good in 2012. They were even better than Michigan back then.
Yeah, they were. Look at them now. Now they're a trash heap.
Yeah, Nebraska was entering that game 2-2, which is not a terrible record, but
no.
Michigan's defense was just up to the task, and guess what? They dominated the first half. They usually suck in the first half, does Michigan, but they didn't.
Right. I was watching the game.
They led 28-0 at halftime, and they didn't even stop.
No. I saw the place. I saw the game.
That was no contest whatsoever. No. They almost blanked Nebraska, yet the Cornhuskers somehow scored a touchdown to extend their long game touchdown streak to 344 games. Without getting shut out. I mean, not just touchdown, but their game streak to 340. Their streak without getting shut out to 344 games, in better words.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for them on a personal note.
Almost sounds like last week's Dolphins game. Well.
No, that's different.
Yeah.
That's completely different. Michigan didn't score 70. They scored 45. They still won. That's it.
I know.
That's all that matters.
Them, though. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So, I predicted Iowa to win by like 35 over Michigan State.
Wow.
And I thought this game was actually close. It was on NBC.
Yes.
How could Michigan State keep it that close?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, this is Michigan State. I mean, they're not They used to be good, but they've slacked off in recent years. I'm surprised it was getting that close myself. I was expecting it to be a more of a a
Both
lopsided game.
both quarterbacks, Noah Kim and I forgot the Iowa quarterback's name, but they were both bad.
Yeah,
Oh, frick. Deacon Hill. Yes, Deacon
yes,
Hill's the name of the Iowa quarterback. Deacon Hill. Noah Kim and Deacon Hill were garbage tonight. And it's not even about playing defense. Oh, like except it did factor in too, partially, but the entire story is just both quarterbacks just being bad, but especially Noah Kim,
yeah,
despite the statistics. The yeah, the Spartans only led by as many as 6. Iowa
yeah.
easily came back with 2 chip shot field goals, and then, or actually not 2 chip shot field goals, but one a 53-yarder and the other a chip shot from like 33 yards out to tie it up at 16, to be exact, and then a punt return for a touchdown gave the Hawkeyes the lead. But that game time field goal was forced by a shank punt by Eckley, who actually punted the ball once in that ball game, 67 yards.
Yeah.
Before then. Before then.
I saw a 58-yard field goal being made. Wow.
Well, in college football here. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I mean in the game today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good. I didn't think it was going to even make it. I thought it fell a few yards short, but it made it.
And then after Iowa's go-ahead touchdown punt return, Michigan State fumbled the ball, Mosley, and he got injured at the same time.
Oh.
And then Iowa nailed another chip shot field goal with about over a minute to go to seal it. Like I said, I predicted Iowa to win, but not by as little as that.
Yeah.
As 10.
Neither was I.
Yeah, the Hawkeyes may look bad, but the Spartans are still worse. They're 2-3. Iowa's 4-1. Go figure.
Yeah.
It's nothing shocking. It's not shocking to me at all. No part of the game was shocking.
No. Michigan State not what they used to be either.
Not with D'Antonio as head coach, technically.
Yeah.
D'Antonio is a special advisor to interim head coach Harlan Barnett, who is just not fit for the permanent job.
No.
For the head coaching job on a permanent basis. So what's going on your end?
Well, Rutgers had a big game today. I mean, a rare blowout win, if I do say so. I mean, they're not known for blowing out their opponents, but this was more against more like a team that should belong in like Double-A or Division II. I'll explain in the report. Yankees and Mets are both wrapping up their seasons. What a shame! No postseason baseball in the Big Apple.
Everyone is. The entire regular season is coming to an end officially.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. But in New York, New York is really a baseball town, and when the Yankees or Mets or both teams don't make the playoffs, we consider the season over, even though it is playoff time. That's New York is a baseball town.
Yep. It is.
Yeah. And last night there was supposed to be an exhibition game, a preseason game between the Rangers and the Islanders, but because of the flooding issues, the game got postponed.
Flooding.
I know it's only Yeah,
the
we have
weather
flooding
outside.
in our area. Yeah.
The weather. Yeah.
Yeah, it was flooding in the East Coast. I mean, I know it's only a preseason game, but still, it's kind of rare to cancel a game because of weather conditions. Because hockey is played indoors,
If
But
it's preseason, it doesn't count. That's what
doesn't
matters.
count. That's true. And it was a state of emergency, so yeah, I get it. But I still find it kind of strange. Like, they don't even cancel it for snow.
It's not a regular season game. Regular season games can't be canceled. They can be postponed.
Right.
Oh yeah, a preseason game being postponed, not instead of canceled. They're two different things here.
Yeah, I know. It was postponed, but I still found it kind of weird. Like, they don't even postpone a game for snow sometimes, and they cancel it because of flooding. But when the governor of New York said it's a state of emergency, okay, I get it. I just thought it was kind of weird though when I first heard it.
Yeah. All right. So the Chiefs play tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football,
Uh-huh.
and the national media has gotten word that Taylor Swift will be in appearance at their
Yep,
game.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, truly, evidently dating Travis Kelsey. Boy, was I wrong last week.
Yeah. What could
But
be
hey,
worse? This is yeah.
honest mistake.
Yeah,
I
but what
just
could
didn't
be?
take it seriously. That's it.
Yeah, neither did I.
My bad. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be the second blunder of the year he's made. The first was his appearance on Saturday Night Live back in March. Oh, that was awful.
Yep.
Oh, that
So
was
we got
awful.
playoff. Yep. So we got playoff appearance tickets being punched in by Major League Baseball teams, and you're going to start with them right now on your True Sports Report. Go
And
ahead.
away we go. All right, with as we approach the end of the season, we still have a day and a half to go. Actually, now all the baseball scores are done for the day, and we'll start with the Tigers being the Guardians 8-0.
Oof. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
on my phone.
Brisky got the win. McKenzie got the loss. Rays over the Blue Jays in 10, 7-5. Devansky got the win. Hicks got the loss. Mets over the Phillies 4-3. Miguel got the win. Walker got the loss. And Octavio got the save. The Marlins over the Pirates 7-3. Polk got the win. Prester got the loss, and Scott got the save. Cubs over the Brewers 10-6. Winowski got the win. Laurel got the save, and got the loss, and Talon got the save. Yankees over the Royals 5-2. Montrose got the win. Marsh got the loss, and Holmes got the save. Padres over the White Sox 6-1. Waka got the win. Clevenger got the loss. Orioles over the Red Sox 5-2. Zimmerman got the win and was not, and Winowski got the loss. The Cardinals over the Reds 15-6. Verhagen got the win and Phillips got the loss. In the suspended game that was from last night, which was made up today, the Mets over the Phillies 11-4. Garrett got the win and Plasmeyer got the loss. Rangers over the Mariners 6-1. Spores got the win and Castellino got the loss. Braves over the Nationals 5-3. Strider got the win. Weems got the loss, and Iglesias got the save. Astros over the D-backs 1-0. Verlander got the win. Kelly got the loss, and Abreu got the save. Twins over the Rockies 14-6. Paddock got the win, and Kaufman got the loss. Giants over the Dodgers 2-1. Walker got the win. Kershaw got the loss, and Duvall got the save. And finally, A's over the Angels 7-3. Boyle got the win. Joyce got the loss. All right, so let's take a look at I'll look at the schedule. Tomorrow, the last day of the regular season, and all games will be played within about 10 minutes of each other, pretty much. Now, before you think I'm crazy, it is not uncommon. In fact, it's very common, to be honest, to have all games played on the last day of the season at roughly the same time. So here we go. Starting with your 305 games, the Red Sox take on the Orioles, the Dodgers take on the Giants, and the Marlins take on the Pirates. 307, A's take on the Angels, Rays take on the Blue Jays. Your 310 games, and we got a slew of them. Do we ever? The Cubs take on the Brewers, Guardians take on your Tigers, Astros take on the D-backs, Yankees take on the Royals, Phillies take on the Mets, Padres take on the White Sox, Rangers take on Seahawks. The Nationals take on the Braves. The Twins take on the Rockies. That's all 3:10. At 3:15, the Reds take on the Cardinals. All right, so we'll take the standings here, and they go like this. I'll do it. The Orioles still lead at 101-60, 3 games ahead of the Rays at 98-63. Blue Jays 89-72, 12 back, but they do clinch a playoff spot. The Yankees 82-79, 19 back, and the Red Sox 77-84, 24 back. But at least the Yankees, who were on the verge of having a losing season, will finish no worse than 82 wins. So that guarantees them another winning season for I think the 33rd or 34th consecutive season. I think that's a record. To the Central, the Twins, the only decent team in the Central, at 87-74. The Tigers are 77-84, 10 back. The Guardians 76-85, 11 back. The White Sox 61-100, 26 back, and the Royals 55-106, 32 back. Eesh.
Tigers are in second place, man.
I know, but still, losing effort. Yeah.
I know, but really, I know it's the AL Comedy Central but the Tigers second place. Oh,
maybe
wow.
that's a good sign. Maybe that's a sign of good things to come for next season. Maybe.
They hired Jeff Greenberg as their general manager.
Yeah.
And Miguel Cabrera as the special assistant to Greenberg and team president Scott Harris.
Could be a good omen. Maybe. Okay, so for the West, the Rangers 90-71, Astros just a game back at 89-72. This is going to be interesting. Mariners are out at 87-74, just 3 games back, just missed it. Angels 72-89, 18 back, and the A's, the biggest loser of them all, at 50-111, 40 games back. Wow. And I think despite the Mariners' good record, they just missed the playoffs. Wow. Okay, to the National League. Braves, can't go wrong. 104-57, 15 ahead of the Phillies at 89-72. The Marlins 84-76, 19.5 back. The Mets 74-86, 29.5 back, despite today's sweep. And the Nationals 70-91, 34 back. To the Central, the Brewers 91-70, 8 games ahead of the Cubs at 83-78. Decent. Reds finished decent, are 82-79, 9 back, but still decent. Pirates 75-86, 16 back, and the Cardinals 70-91, 21 back. And I got news about one of their greatest pitchers. To the West, Dodgers 99-62. D-backs are 15 back at 84-77, but they have a playoff spot. The Padres 81-80, 18 back. The Giants 79-82, 20 back, and the Rockies 58-103, 41 back. Hey, I got some exhibition hockey if anybody wants it.
Let's go Red Wings.
Sure. Right. Okay. So, we'll start with, if I can find it here. Oh, there we go. All right. At the end of the second period, the Kings and Sharks are scoreless. That's the only game left. All the rest are final as the Blue Jays beat the Blue Jackets 4-3. The Lightning beat the Yahoos.
Oh, the Maple Leafs beat the Blue Jackets?
The Sabres beat the Blue Jackets. Sabres,
okay, you said the Blue Jays.
Blue Jackets 4-3. The Lightning over the Predators, or as I say, Yahoos, 5-4. Take your choice. Red Wings over the Capitals, 5-2. Sorry, Steve.
Larkin with 2 goals. Larkin being Larkin, man.
In the Turnpike Battle of New Jersey, in the Turnpike Battle, Devils beat the Flyers 3-2 in overtime. The Wild over the Blackhawks 3-2, also in overtime. The Stars over the Blues 4-3 in overtime. Wow. The Maple Leafs over the Canadiens 3-1. Islanders over the Rangers 5-3. Yeah, it's only preseason. Doesn't bother me that much. And the Canucks over the Oilers 5-2. And we still got about roughly 2 weeks before the regular season begins. All right, so the schedule tomorrow goes like this. The Panthers will take on the Senators. The Ducks take on the Coyotes. The Blackhawks take on your Red Wings. And the Stars take on the Avalanche. All right, so now we'll get to the college scores of the day. Let's get over here. All right. Busy day in college football, as usually is this time of year. Right now, Alabama is leading Mississippi State 11:30 to go in the fourth quarter, 34-17. Milroe has 132 yards on passing, 69 yards and 11 carries rushing and 2 touchdowns. And Niptak has 61 receiving yards. At the half, number seven, Aaron
And your microphone's off again.
There we go. I muted it. There we go. Washington over Arizona 21-10 right now.
Can't do that.
I know. Penix Jr. 222 yards passing. Johnson has 30 rushing yards on 5 carries, 1 touchdown, and Bernard has 68 receiving yards. 4:15 to go in the second. Number 25, Fresno State leads Nevada 14-0. Keene has 128 passing yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Sherwood has 76 rushing yards, 4 carries, a touchdown, and Gill has 71 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Number 6, Penn State over Northwestern 41-13. Al-Ar has 69 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Singleton has 80 rushing yards, 21 carries, and a touchdown. Lambert has 88 receiving yards. Number 6, USC over Colorado in a good one, 48-41, not bad. Williams had 403 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Lloyd, 84 rushing yards, 13 carries, and a touchdown. And Miller, 106 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Kentucky upsets number 22, Florida, 33-14. Mertz, 244 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Davis, 26 carries, 220 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Purcell had 62 receiving yards and a touchdown. Number 1, Georgia over Auburn, a close one, 27-20. Beck had 313 passing yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Thorne had 92 rushing yards and 12 carries. Bowers had 157 receiving yards and a touchdown. As we mentioned earlier, Michigan over Nebraska in a big way, 45-7. Harburg had 199 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Felix, 74 rushing yards, 1 carry, and 1 touchdown. And Kemp, the 4th, 81 receiving yards.
All for Nebraska. What about Michigan's stats?
Yeah, they didn't take the Michigan stats. How do you like that?
Fuck them.
Yeah. Kansas.
Here, let me.
All right.
Let me try to dig these up real quickly. Let me pause this report. I apologize for the inconvenience.
Okay.
Let's see. Michigan. Hail to the victors. J.J. McCarthy, 186 passing yards and 3 friggin' touchdowns.
Wow.
Yep, Michigan won and covered 17 and a half point favorites. They won by 38 points. What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
To Nebraska. I know Michigan was going to win, but Nebraska, I did not expect them to fall flat like that.
Neither did I. But what do I know? I'm just a reporter. What do I know?
At the same time, Michigan dominated the first half. I'm going to say this over and over and over again.
Yes. Oh boy. Okay. Number 3, Texas over Kansas, 40-14. Evers had 325 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Brooks had 218 rushing yards on 21 carries and 2 touchdowns, and Mitchell had 141 receiving yards on 10 carries and a touchdown. Number 23, Missouri over Vanderbilt, 38-21. Vanderbilt. Yeah. Cook had 395 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Pearl had 71 rushing yards on 12 carries, and Burden had 140 receiving yards, 11 and on 2 touchdowns. This is ridiculous. So we're doing kind of a blowout city today. Okay, here was a good game. This might have been the game of the day here. Number 20, Ole Miss over number 13, LSU, 55-49. Daniels had 414 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Judkins had 177 yards on 33 carries, 1 touchdown. And Harris had 153 receiving yards, 1 touchdown.
That game could have gone either way.
Oh, yeah. Came down to the last 5 seconds.
Wow, 5 remaining.
Yeah, because LSU was in the red zone with 5 seconds to go. Oregon
They scored a touchdown?
No, it was bad. It was bad away because LSU was trying to go for the
bad away.
open
Okay.
tie.
So
Yeah,
the team that was
missed.
behind had the ball. Okay, gotcha.
Right. Number 9, Oregon had an easy win over Stanford, 42-6. Nix had 290 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Irving had 88 rushing yards on 13 carries and a touchdown. And Franklin had 117 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Oklahoma over Iowa State, 50-20. Gabriel had 386 passing yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Sama had 67 yards on 7 carries. And Higgins had 81 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Notre Dame over Duke, 21-14. Hartman had 222 passing yards. Leonard had 88 rushing yards and 18 carries. And Evans had 134 receiving yards. And finally, Tennessee over South Carolina, 41-20. Milton had 239 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Wright had 123 rushing yards on 16 carries and a touchdown, and White had 104 receiving yards. One was named Wright, and the other was White. Okay, plain and simple.
Tongue twister there.
Yeah, I got it, though. All right, so on to the news of the day, and it goes this way. Just clear up this junk here. Okay. So, to start off with, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the Ryder Cup, but the U.S. team is making a little bit of moves here as Patrick Cantley won 3-1 in the ball 4 competition. That gives them some life. The U.S. still trails the European squad by 10.5 to 5.5, and would need a huge comeback to pull it off after an unforgettable start to the tournament that gives the U.S. some momentum that it badly needs. Cantley, ranked 5th in the world, made a 43-foot birdie on the 18th hole to beat Roy McIlroy and Michael Fitzpatrick, 1-up in the final match. Cantley and U.S. Open champion Wyndham Clark were down 1 with 3 holes to play. Cantley made a 10-foot shot birdie to match McIlroy's birdie on the 16th and sank a 10-foot to tie the match on par 3 on the 17th hole. After the U.S. fell 7 points behind, the British press said the U.S. was flawed. They accused Cantley of leading the charge over players not being paid, competing in the Ryder Cup, instead not wearing the team-issued hat in protest. Once the report on social media came out, many of the European fans greeted Cantley on every hole, waving their hats. Cantley denied the reports and said the Ryder Cup is not about being paid. He said it was not wearing the hat because it did not fit, and that was the same reason why he did not wear the hat when they won the Cup in 2019. The U.S. has not won on foreign soil in the Ryder Cup in 30 years. They dominate on the American side of the tournament but not in Europe. As also the U.S. Were down considerably at the start of day 2, and Scheffler was mighty disappointed in the first results, as Victor Hovland of Norway and Sweden's Ludwig Aberg were just destroying them. The Americans were trailing Europe by 9.5 to 2.5 at the start of day 2, but have caught up since then. So we're making moves here. I don't know if it's going to be enough to win, but at least they're making some progress. The Minnesota Wild signed Mats Zuccarello and Marco Foligno to contract extensions yesterday. Zuccarello, a former Ranger, mind you, signed a 2-year, $8.2 million contract yesterday. Foligno signed a 4-year extension yesterday worth $16 million. Zuccarello has 1 year left in his 5-year, $30 million deal that he signed in July 2019. He's coming off a season where he had 22 goals and 45 assists. Since joining the Wild, he leads the team with 146 assists and 48 power play assists. He ranks second in points with 218, 70 power play points, has 72 goals and 22 power play goals in that span. In 13 seasons, totaling 766 career games, Zuccarello has played for the Stars, Wild, and, as I mentioned before, the Rangers. He has 186 goals and 387 assists in the regular season, and has 18 goals and 37 assists in 96 playoff games. Foligno, since joining the Wild in 2017-2018, has 67 goals and 89 assists in 396 games. Foligno has 116 goals, 156 assists in his career with the Sabres and the Wild. Moving along, the LA Lakers plan to help LeBron James extend his prime into his 21st season of a career that involving talent around him, and not so much in cutting his minutes. LeBron does a great job of taking care of himself, said Coach Darvin Hamlin yesterday ahead of a news conference ahead of next week's training camp. The team he is with him now we have the pieces in place. Those guys around us are going to step up and do some pretty heavy lifting for us as the season approaches. James averaged 35.5 minutes last season, which is down from the 2021-22 season, but still more than he's played in his first 3 seasons with the Lakers. He still averages 28.9 points per game, shooting 50%, along with 8.3 rebounds and 6.8 assists. But a torn tendon in his right foot caused him to miss 27 games last season. Ugh. And though there has been a drop-off in his overall game shooting since he joined the Lakers, his body has betrayed him at times. He has missed 111 games due to injury in the last 5 seasons, comparing to only 71 games missed in his previous 15 seasons. But then again, remember, age catches up with all of us. Lakers Vice President of Operations and General Manager Rob Pelinka praised LeBron's off-season work ethic after their disappointing end to the postseason as they were swept by the eventual NBA champion Denver Nuggets. LeBron, who was entering his 21st season in the league, is being more like a rookie, being in the weight room early, and has been in the building more often than any other player and any team that LeBron has played. Has been very uniform, that his work ethic sets the tone. Former guard for the Spurs, Joshua Primo, was suspended 4 games without pay for determinable conduct. League investigators found that Primo engaged in bias as shocking behavior as he, quote-unquote, exposed himself to women. Primo's conduct was not intentional. The league and investigators found no evidence that he engaged in such any misconduct part of the with the exception of the exposure incident. Yeah. Nevertheless, the league said yesterday his behavior does not confirm league standards and warrants discipline. A former Spurs sports psychologist did sue Primo and the rest of the Spurs over Primo's actions, and the complaint was settled out of court. Yeah. Which gives him the Idiot of the Week award, of course. But now part 2, he did sign a 2-year deal with the LA Clippers. ESPN said yesterday. So it didn't take long for him to find a home. He has engaged in therapy in Los Angeles, according to sources. He was selected 12th in the 2021 draft and was waived last October after the incident occurred. Believe me, that guy needs a lot of help. But I certainly wish the best for him. All right, moving along. Let's see here. Oh, Lionel Messi trained early yesterday morning, but faced a game-time decision again for Miami due to a nagging leg injury as they faced NYFC in a home game. Miami assistant coach Javier Morales said yesterday that he left back Jordi Alba and will miss his second straight game with a hamstring injury. Oh boy. Yeah, Messi's having a lot of injuries lately. Messi will continue to recover, to train, and be a day-by-day decision, while Morales said Alba will take some more time to recover. Both players missed Wednesday's U.S. Open Cup final against Houston and lost. Miami conceded 18 shots on goal before making adjustments at the break and came close to sending the game to extra time, but missed some extra chances. Miami is 5 points out of a playoff spot in the NFC and the ninth and final playoff spot. If Miami does win tomorrow, if Miami did win that, they come up to the 11th spot and come within 2 points for the final playoff spot as they manage to get 3 points for the win and get help from other teams. Miami will be playing their last 3 games in just a span of 8 days, and that could be a heavy role in what could decide their playoff hopes. Yeah. All right, here's an interesting story for you. Wilt Chamberlain's 72 finals jersey, worn in Game 2 and clinches the series in 5 games, exceeded expectations at auction at Sotheby's and sold for almost $5 million. If you want exact numbers, okay, $4.9 million. Wilt the Stilt named Finals MVP and his only Finals MVP, which was not given out until 1969, 10 years after his career began. The 72 finals were notable for the Lakers as they had such players Chamberlain, Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, and Pat Riley. It was their first title in LA since moving from Indianapolis and set a record for a Chamberlain item. The previous record was $1.79 million for his rookie card when he was back with the then known as the Philadelphia Warriors. Because I think the Warriors came out west in '67. Andrei Vavilevsky is expected to miss 1 to 2 months of the season after undergoing back surgery. Okay. Lightning GM Julian Riespos announced that Vavilevsky, a 5-time All-Star, in 2018 underwent a hysterectomy back on Thursday to repair a lumbar disc herniation. Ugh. Riespos and Vavilevsky informed the Lightning that he was having a back issue that was feeling better after receiving an injection. Oof. It was not until Lightning's first practice that Vavilevsky was starting to feel discomfort. His absence could be a significant blow to the Lightning, who are shooting for their 7th straight postseason in the Eastern Conference landscape. This could be more challenging with teams like the Sabres and Pens after just missing the playoffs, while other teams such as the Senators and Red Wings use off-season to bolster their rosters. The Lightning were eliminated in the first round of playoffs last season by the Maple Leafs. Prior to that, the Lightning made 3 straight finals and won the Cup twice in 2020 and 21, but lost to the Avalanche in 2022. I remember that very well. Yeah. Clippers stars Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are fully healthy, entering next week's training camp in Hawaii, according to Lawrence Frank, the Lakers' president of operations. Leonard played in the first 2 playoff games. The Clippers, the first round playoff loss to the Suns before being sidelined with a torn meniscus. He underwent a cleanup procedure on June 6th. George has fully recovered from a right knee sprain.
I'm watching a
Yeah.
minor league baseball championship game, and I just saw a grand slam
Wow.
hit way out of here toward dead center over the out of the entire ballpark in
Interesting.
Las Vegas.
Ah, both are fully healthy, and Frank said the team facility on Thursday. I think both players have very productive off seasons, and obviously our two best players are totally invested in doing special things for the organization. They will show it in their actions. So I think we are ready and excited, and they'll be fully ready to participate in camp. Frank also said there were discussions with their two franchise players concerning contract extensions. Both stars grew up near LA and wanted to play here. Each have a $48 million options for the 2024-25 season and are eligible to sign a 4-year extension worth up to a whopping $223 million each, according to ESPN. We are still trying to maximize Paul and Kawhi's window and take advantage of it, said Frank. We had ongoing discussions with both since they were both extension eligible and the representatives at the appropriate time. We are hopeful they'll both remain with the Clippers. Yeah, good luck on that one, buddy. You're asking an awful lot. Okay. Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo will miss today's game now against the Chargers as he's still in the concussion protocol and did not travel with the team. Without him, the Raiders will either turn to rookie Aiden O'Connell or Brian Hoyer. O'Connell was selected in the 4th round this year's draft, but has not played a game yet this season. Hoyer has not started a game since October 2016, and prior to that lost 12 straight starts. Oof, wow. O'Connell has had a great preseason. He completed 43 of 62% of his throws for 482 yards and 3 touchdowns with no interceptions in those 3 preseason games. Raiders receiver Davante Adams said this week he should be ready for either player to be played at center. Well, the Orioles got some good news, of course. They clinched the division, but they got some bad news as Felix Bautista will undergo Tommy John surgery and will miss the playoffs and all of next season. Oh, boy. The right-hander went on the 15-day injured list on August 26th, a day after he was injured in a game against the Rockies. That was a kind of long-term conclusion as soon as we had our arms around the injury, said general manager Mike Ellis, who said today, now yesterday. Wow. Tough break. Ellis also said Bautista agreed to a 2-year contract and will be eligible for salary arbitration after the 2024 season. Bautista had hoped to make it to the postseason for the Orioles after having their first postseason since 2016, and the ALDS begins on October 7th, a week from now. Okay. The Raiders released defensive end Chandler Jones yesterday. Jones was arrested on Friday night in Vegas after a troublesome week that included several reports to social media. He was arrested after violating a domestic violence temporary protective order. The Raiders said that we are hopeful that Chandler gets the help he needs. Jones was released due to conduct issues with the team, source on ESPN, meaning the Raiders are no longer responsible for certain financial commitments, like his base salary. Jones was in the 2nd year of his 3-year deal worth $51 million. Jones had been away from the team since Labor Day weekend when he made a series of posts that were aimed at owner Mark Davis and general manager David Ziegler and coach Josh McDaniels. The Raiders placed Jones on the non-football injury list on September 20th. Last week, Jones posted on social media that he was taken into a hospital against his will by the Las Vegas Fire Department and transferred to a behavior facility. He also made several posts on social media on Thursday, including multiple live videos where he was seen rambling off topics outside of his home. That sounds like a problem to me. Now, the New York Giants could be in big trouble for today's game against the Seahawks, actually on Monday night, as left tackle Andrew Thomas is being ruled out with a hamstring injury, and Saquon Barkley is a game-time decision, said by head coach Brian Daboll. Thomas's hamstring did not look well in practice this week and will miss his third straight game. Barkley is still dealing with a high ankle sprain and was limited in practice all week. Matt Brendan will fill in for Barkley, and Josh Edzu will fill again for Thomas. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is questionable with a shoulder injury for today's game against the Ravens. Watson suffered the injury to his right shoulder as he ran the ball in last Sunday's matchup against the Titans. Although Watson was limited in practice all week, head coach Kevin Stefanski said after Friday's practice that he was hopeful that Watson would still be able to play. Yeah, right. Watson hardly threw in the opener media portion of the practice, but Stefanski said he threw in later in Friday's session. If Watson is not able to start, the Browns will go with Dorian Thompson-Robertson, a fifth-round pick from UCLA, who became the backup during the preseason as the Browns traded Joshua Dobbs to the Cardinals. Last week, Watson completed 23 of 27 passes for 287 yards and 2 touchdowns in last week's win over the Titans. Remember the Titans? Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I just couldn't resist.
Me neither.
Oh boy. Yeah, I had to do it. Okay, the Rangers' potential pitching staff took a hit on Friday after right-hander John Gray was placed on the 15-day injured list with a forearm strain. Ugh. It's probably a situation where he could skip a start and go, but we don't want to do it to be this short at this time of pitchers. So we had to put him on the injured list, said manager Bruce Bochy. Gray had imaging done following a start versus the Dodgers this week and revealed a grade 1 strain. Yeah. Gray did some light throwing following the scans, but that didn't make him feel any better. The Rangers were planning to start Gray yesterday against the Mariners in a game that could have playoff implications, but did not say who would start in his place. Gray has a 9-8 record with a 4.12 ERA with 29 starts, and is second on the team in innings pitched with 157 and a half, and 142 strikeouts. Up until the forearm strain, he'd never missed a start. Interesting. Charlie Blackmon and the Colorado Rockies agreed to a 1-year, $13 million deal for the 2024 season. That prevents him from becoming a free agent. He's in his final season of a 6-year, $108 million guarantee that Blackmon agreed to after winning the batting title with a .331 batting average.
I wonder how old Blackmon is.
I think he's getting up. Well, he's been in the league for 13 years, so he's got to be getting up there now. He's spent all 13 seasons.
Almost getting to be that time.
Yeah, I think he's about, well, let's see. I forget how old he was when he started, but he's got to be in his mid-30s at least. So he has spent all 13 seasons with the Rockies. He entered...
kind of like LeBron James in his 40s.
Yeah, kind of strange. He entered Friday's game against the Twins, batting .283 with 8 home runs and 40 RBIs. Moving along. All right. Okay. Bryce Young is officially back as a starter for the Panthers as they'll face the Vikings tomorrow. Head coach Frank Reich said on Wednesday that he is at the top draft pick was trending towards returning from a right ankle injury that sidelined him last Sunday's loss to the Seahawks. There was no question after Young practiced for a third straight day. I thought it was good, said Reich of Young this past week, probably even better than I expected. Young, however, could be without the lead rusher Miles Sanders, as he was limited in practice for a third straight day with a groin injury and will be questionable for the game. Reich, however, did say he was optimistic that Sanders could be playing tomorrow. Groin injury, yuck. Dolphins receiver Jayden Waddle has cleared of concussion protocol. The announcement was made on Thursday. Waddle will be available for their Week 4 game against the Bills, which is tomorrow, after missing last week's thrashing win over the Broncos, even while still in the protocol. Even without Waddle, the high-powered offense set a franchise record by scoring 70 points in one game and became the first team ever to score 70 points and compile for at least 700 yards of offense in the same game. Oh wow! If you want exact numbers, okay, 726. Waddle was asked what the Dolphins' offense can accomplish with him in the lineup, considering they scored 70 points without him. He replied, "Only time will tell, I guess. But 70 is historical, and it's a tribute to the guys that are unspoken heroes that don't get too much glory out there and gave it their all." Waddle made 4 catches and 86 yards in their Week 2 win over the Patriots before he was hit by linebacker Marte Mapu, who knocked him out late in the fourth quarter. Yeah. He was flagged for unnecessary roughness and was fined more than $5,600 for a helmet-to-helmet hit. Actually, it's $5,620. Waddle was the first-round pick in the 2021 draft, has 8 receptions with 164 yards in the 2 games he's played this season. Okay, here we go. The Boston Red Sox say that Tim Wakefield is undergoing treatment for unspecified disease, and as fans of the foreign pitcher, for his privacy, was disclosed without consent by his former teammate Curt Schilling. The Red Sox issued a statement on Thursday after Schilling discussed Wakefield's condition on a podcast, leading to an outpouring of support for Wakefield and criticism for Schilling. "We are aware of the statements and inquiries made by Tim and his wife Stacy," the report said. The Red Sox say. "Unfortunately, it was for shared publicity without his permission. Their health is a deeply personal matter and need to keep private as they navigate treatment at work to treat the disease. Both Tim and Stacy are appreciative of the support and the love that has always been extended to them and ask for privacy at this time." Wakefield retired in 2022 with a record of 201.92 and carried out a 4.41 ERA with over 3,000 innings pitched and won 2 World Series with the Red Sox in 2004 and 2007, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016. Wakefield also worked for the sports broadcasting network known as NESN, which is the New England version of MSG, and remained active in Boston charities, including the Red Sox Foundation. Schilling, who was his teammate from 2004 to 2007, retired in 2009. He worked as an analyst for ESPN until 2016, until he was fired for his anti-transgender postings on social media. What a jerk. Schilling was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014 and had been in remission. He was selected into the Red Sox Hall of Fame in 2021, but fell way short of the National Hall of Fame in 2022 in his final season being eligible, after only receiving 57% of the players' vote, and players need 75% to enter the Hall of Fame. Boy, those writers are tough. The Atlanta Braves clinched home advantage throughout the playoffs after sweeping the Cubs and ensuring that no team will win more than 103 games this season. The Orioles just will miss 103, as Atlanta was a tiebreaker after beating the Orioles 2-1 head-to-head this year. So that'll be taking care of that. But that's gonna be an interesting race. And the Orioles clinched their 100th win of the season and won the AL division with a 2-0 victory over the Red Sox.
AL East.
Anthony Santander hit a home run, and DJ Hall pitched out of a jam in the 6th to preserve the win. Dean Kremer, 13-5 in the season, allowed just 2 hits and a walk in 5.5 innings and struck out 8, as the Orioles won 100 games for the 6th time in their history, and the first time, though, in 43 years. The Orioles prevailed in a brutal decision that gave the Yankees and Red Sox some afterthoughts. Now, the Orioles, who are just 2 years removed from 110 losses, will enter at the top seed in the American League playoffs. It was a night of celebration at Camden Yards. The Orioles announced down the scoreboard after the 3rd inning that they reached an agreement with the state of Maryland, keeping the Orioles in the city of Baltimore for at least the next 30 years. Their lease at Camden Yards was to expire at the end of this season. So they got what they wanted. Okay. And Jets quarterback Zach Wilson was sacked 4 times in a 24-hour period, 3 times on the field, and a fourth one by former Jets quarterback Joe Namath. Commenting on Nathan's criticism that invalid Wilson inserted he was not upset by the comments. I mean, he's passionate, Wilson said. He's obviously one of the greats, so as an offense, we got to do everything we can to prove him wrong. Well, so far, you haven't done your job, man. Namath was fed up with the struggles of Wilson and blasted the quarterback on ESPN Radio Monday morning, saying that the performance of Wilson was disgusting, and said, well, I have seen enough indicating that Wilson will never be a great quarterback. Wilson thrusted into the lineup when Aaron Rodgers went down with an Achilles injury on the 4th play of the opening game of the season. The Jets were hit hard by Namath's remarks, but most players and coaches were careful not to fire back. Namath, as most of you know, led the Jets to their only Super Bowl title way back in 1969, 1 year before I was born. Did I say that out loud? Okay. I think I did. Well, here's something I think we all expected. The XFL and USFL are planning to merge. Yep, what a shock. In a joint statement made by the XFL and USFL said the merger will be subjected to customary regular approvals.
They had to.
Yeah, they had to. If the transaction is consummated, the new league will establish best-in-class operations based on its most recent seasons in both leagues. The XFL is owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his ex-wife Danny Garcia, while the USFL is owned by the Fox Corporation. Johnson and Garcia led the ownership group that purchased the XFL from former WWE chairman Vince McMahon, who owned the original version of the league in 2001 and folded after one season. He oversaw the relaunch in 2020, but was suspended as COVID was about to make its arrival. Despite entering bankruptcy under McMahon, the league played the entire 2023 season under the ownership of Johnson and Garcia. The USFL ran for 3 seasons from 1983 to 1985. I do remember that. Before relaunching in 2022, the XFL had 8 teams from Seattle to DC. The USFL also had 8 teams stretching from Memphis to New Jersey. I wonder how this is going to work. I'll have to wait and find out. And Ronald Acuna, he's making history again. His steal at second base in the 10th inning against the Cubs was his second of the night back on Wednesday and his 70th of the season, and became the first player to hit 40 home runs and at least steal 70 bases in one season. It came moments after his teammate Ozzie Aviles, who drove him home for the winning run and clinched the #1 spot in the NL League playoffs. Very happy, mostly, as they were able to, for the win to get Acuna with a 6-5 victory. I am very happy to be the first member of the 40-70 club. Acuna hit 41 home runs this season, and also became the first player to hit 40 home runs and stole 60 bases in a season. And he was the second Braves player to hit 70 steals in one season. Only Otis Nixon did that back in 1991 when he had 72 stolen bases. The Braves raised 3 deficits against the Cubs, with Michael Ozuna tying the game with the 9th with a home run before Acuna singled home Kevin Pillar to tie the game with the bottom of the 10th. Then on the first pitch to Aviles, Acuna took off for second base and slid safely head first. Ugh. He acknowledged the crowd, then took the base off the ground and held it high above his head before sending it back to the dugout. Now that's how you celebrate. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're the best for. They're not the best for nothing. This team has been dangerous all year. All right, so I'll just take care of some final scores.
Alabama just won.
Aha. Yes, they did. 40-17 over Mississippi State. Milrow had 184 passing yards, 69 rushing yards, 11 carries and 2 touchdowns, and Nyback had 81 receiving yards. That must have just went final.
Did. It did.
Yeah. There's still 2 games to go in the third quarter, as Washington is leading Arizona 28-17 with 3 minutes and change to go in the third. And starting the third, Fresno State is leading Nevada 14-0. Don't forget, that's a very late game, folks. So, well, you get the idea. Over to, I'll cover some MLS here as we're coming down that season. Right now, the LA Galaxy and Portland Timbers are tied at 3 going into the final minutes. DC and United are tied at 2 in extra time. Columbus and Philadelphia tied end their game at 1 apiece. Also ending in a 1-1 tie are Inter Miami and NYC FC. Miami is where over Charlotte 2-1. Chicago over New York 1-0. Orlando and Montreal 3-0. Toronto, Cincinnati over Toronto 3-2. Houston and Dallas and the 0-0 tie. Minnesota and San Jose are ending at 1. Okay, so that's gonna wrap it up for me. So I'll just turn it back over to you.
All right. True Sports episode 87 is in the can. For Lewis, I'm Taylor. We'll be back tomorrow night at 10:30 because Monday I got to work early in the golf course. Thought I'd make this early and do the report when we finish, we can finish at probably around the time Sunday night football comes to an end.
And wrap up the regular season of baseball.
Yep, exactly. So, until episode 88, for Lewis, I'm Taylor. Ta-ta, and happy October.
Good night, folks.